Hello guys, welcome to today's tutorial, and today we are going to build a news app uh, in which we are going to use an API which will fetch the news from uh, the website that I'm going to link below. And yeah, let's get right into it. So if you like the video or like my channel or you want to see any kind of video, please subscribe and comment, so uh, I'm also learning, so as we go, I can learn more from your comments or your suggestions or any projects that you want uh, me to cover. So I am already using the layout that I have from my previous project, and the source link I'm going to provide from the GitHub. So when you make this app, you can take the layout from the GitHub, my GitHub account. And right now, just to save some time, I'm going to copy paste the Gradle properties and the layout, and then I will try to explain the Java code as I write it. Okay. So yeah, first of all, we will go to our Gradle and add some of the dependencies. Uh, okay, I have, where did I keep the dependencies? Anyways, let's just go to the first main activity file and go, the layout that I'm using. Uh, we are making an app with a recycler view, and also we are adding some cool features such as swipe refresh functionality. Yeah, so here we are seeing these errors because we have to add the dependencies. So yeah, these are the dependencies I had copied that I had kept. Yeah, so let's just paste it here, and we will have to sync it. Yeah, we are going to use glide library to load the images of the news articles. And yeah, there are two more actions that we have to do here. Is androidx, because the androidx, I believe so that like the recycler view and swipe refresh and the card view that we are using and glide, they need androidx. So let's just find the androidx enabler. um, what is this? Use android but is not enabled, so we will go here, and here we will set it to true. And I think we need one more thing. It's called Jetifier or something. Let's just check. Yeah, yeah, this thing. Okay, so our Gradle is ready, and here if we come back, so all our errors will be gone. And yeah, here we can see that uh, our recycler view is here. Yeah, and everything is fine for now. So we will create a layout file because we want to display the news in a certain, like you can, in this file you can create the design of the app, like whatever that you are displaying you can control it. And yeah, basically you are just inflating the data on this, on a recycler view you are inflating the data. So let's click OK on that. And I have the layout from my previous project, so I'm just going to use it. If you want to get that layout, you can just go to my GitHub. Yeah, let's just check. Yeah, and here we have got it. And in drawable, uh, yeah, in this, like I'm missing like few things. I have to go to my previous project to retrieve those drawables, because we have a, yeah, this kind of layout. So I have to like add some calendar here, and I have to add some images here to make it look beautiful. So let me just get that from my old drawable. Yeah, let's see, text color. Oh, the colors is like you can just give it any color. Let's use the old one, black maybe. Yeah, black is here, and the time is here. I can give it a blue color. Okay, so our layout files are ready. Here is one progress bar, like that can uh, show you that image is still loading, and this is a very cool feature that we will learn how to implement it. So that's it for now, and like we will go to our real work that we have to do. So first of all, since we have moved to AndroidX, so we have to, yeah, we might see some errors, so we can get rid of those errors like this. And yeah, first of all, we will create a custom class. We can name it model, and here we will use the variables for retrieving the values. And yeah, take string, and for reference, like what kind of values do you need from the JSON response. You can also, like, the link will be provided in the description or in my GitHub GitHub uh, project, that like how do you make a model. First of all, you take this API link and go to JSON formatter, and you paste it here. Yeah, here you can see it has arranged the JSON response, and basically what we want to display is we want to display the name of the news outlet, the title of the news article and the description of it, and the URL, because you know when you click on that, so it should take you to the website of the news outlet that has posted that article. And URL to image contains the photo of the article. You can see JPEG here, and publish that is like a time and the date that we will learn how to display, because in this, in some, even in this one, like you can read it like still it's readable, but sometimes you have to convert it. And also, yeah, so we can just like see what kind of information. If I want to display the name of the author, I can take this from here also, but right now we are just going to work with description, the url to image, published at, and the source of the news. Yeah, so let's get right into it. So I need source, I need title, article, I need description, I need url, I need image. You can name it any, uh, you can name these variables with any names that you like, but just for the good reference I'm going to use these, so it matches or it's easier to remember. Source, title, description, url to image, time. Okay, that's it. I'm going to create a constructor uh, that we can do by just selecting it, right click, generate constructor, control A, select all. Yeah, we got the constructor here, and now we're going to get we're going to make the getter methods. Even that, if you want to write manually you can write it, but otherwise uh, you can just like right click here and generate and getter and select all. It will automatically show you the getter methods, and here we are done with our model. And now we will work on creating uh, an adapter uh, for our project. So because there is not one news that we are going to display, we are going to display news from the multiple sources. So we want the Java to dynamically inflate our all images one after the other, all our images and the title and the news from the different outlets. So let's just create and name this as news doctor, and we are using RecyclerView because it's more. And we take doctor here, and we are going to the doctor and my folder implements filterable, because we are implementing filterable here because we want to implement the search bar also. So in the end, this app is going to be really cool. Class folder, because we have written my view holder here, and extend RecyclerView.viewHolder and implement view on click listener, because when we click on the view we want it to divert the click to the main source. Let's say the news is from CNN, so we have to make sure that our views are clickable. Yeah, so here after this we will implement methods, and also it will still give us an error because we need a constructor. And here we will implement the methods, and we still need a constructor, so we will put the context like this. Inside it, our argument is going to be our model that we have created. We're going to name it news list. We'll create a similar, but here news list is filtered. If you are not implementing the search view, yes, so then you don't need to take this. But in this project I'm doing it, so we can just take it like that. And we're going to create one constructor again. Okay, so we're gonna take these two values, and here we're gonna, yeah, is equal to news list. And so right into it, we're going to, in on create view holder, you are to inflate your data on layout that you have created. Layout inflator dot from context dot inflate dot r dot layout, whatever the file that you have created, like in our case news parent and return new holder view. Okay, this is done, and the item count is going to be, because we are using our news list filter, because we want our search view to work. So even when we are not searching, its news list filtered is still equal to the news list here that we have declared. But it is important, when you are working with the search view, you have to write the news list filtered here, like your filtered list that you have created, because you are creating two lists. And when you are using filtered list, that means you are storing the data in a second list. Okay, so okay, here we are, and first of all we will take our views that are in this layout, and we're going to initialize and cast them first. So text view that has a course, title, and our time and date, but we are going to break it. Then we have time, and then we have description. So we got like 5 here views. Then we have an image view where we are going to display our images. We have a progress bar that can show us the image is loading or something. It's going to look really cool. Now then we will come inside the view holder method, my view holder method, and we're going to one by one find our views. So we have source, title, view, title, publish tag, view, uh, publish that, and time, view, view by time, description, find view by description, and uh, image view we can find from here. Yeah, and lastly, the progress bar is going to be progress photo, and this is very important step, the last step that I'm doing, because here, if you don't add this line, that means all of your item views like will not be clickable. So if you want to make the view clickable and responsive, you have to apply this at the end. Here we're going to take one integer and store the adapter position on it. We will get our model here, news list filtered, and get position and URI. URI is equal to URI parse. Here we will get model and get URL, because we we want to we are using here our URL, because like whatever the URL of the article, according to the adapter position, our 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 link will be open. Context start activity view and action view, and pass the URI here. So you are done here. Your views, in this case the article, will be clickable and take you towards the website. And just two more steps. Here you are going to bind, uh, or you will like just uh, set the text in all these views. So we will go here and string title, It does not matter even if the view name and the string variable name is same, because they are both in a different method. Title, and we will get title by uh, yeah, this is very important. Let me explain this. If you are here, if you are going to here write news list, that means when you search, your article will not be searched by the news list. But if you want, like, if you're typing any text such as ABC, because obviously the article is in English, so ABC, like, the title would contain those kind of characters. If you want to search your article by the name of its title, you have to use the filtered list that you have created. Source, if you are searching the news by the source name, if you want, like, to type CNN. So if you are taking news list here, then your article will not be searched. So you have to make sure that you are using whatever the search, the way that you want to use it, you have to use that list. String, description. So it's just safe to take all by uh, by the news list filtered, because it's equal to news list anyway. But when you are using news list only, then it does affect your search view and results. And here we will get time and position, get time, and here we are using position, get fill time. Here we will get our image. Get unit image. You can the reason I take image as news filtered, because if you are searching an article, then it will make sure that it displays the right image with the right article. Otherwise it will display the right text and right source, but it will not display the right image with the right article when one if you are searching it. So yeah, you come here and sorry, you can first of all, your title, text, title, folder, source, text, source, folder, subtext, oh sorry, folder, description, text, description. And here I'm going to first let's work on the image, and then like we can I will work on something else, because we have to, if you notice here, this time we have taken 2 times, because if you look at our JSON response, our date and time is being displayed together, so we have to break it, so we need a special method. First of all, let's work on the image, and then we can work on our time and date. So we had already imported the glide library in our Gradle, and here we will load our image. And so here to use to add some extra functionality to it, such as the image should, when it's loading, it should display a graphic of a circle being uh, circle indicating that our image is being loaded. So otherwise the code is really simple, but if you want to add extra functionality to it, then you have to do some extra steps. So we're going to apply request options, listener, request listener. Oh, wow. here we will and here we will work on it. So folder dot progress bar that we have taken from here, and we will be gone and return false, and we'll come down in this method folder dot progress bar dot set visibility dot gone, and make sure that your holder here is final, because you know if you are accessing it inside some new method, then you have to declare it holder final, like in your this brackets here. So here you would have to modify it a little bit, and transition drawable transitions options with crossfade, it's an effect dot into, and folder image view, because our image view was here, this image view, and the value that we got of image was from here. And yeah, here we are done with our views, but we would have to still come back here for our date and time. So let's work on the filter, because we need our filter functionality to work also. Yeah, and here we're gonna like return filter. Okay, got it. And here we will let's just remove it. Gonna take a string. String character, you can name it. Constraint is the parameter here of char sequence. So to string character is empty. Then use this filter is equal to use this. As we are creating a new list here, the list that filter list, because once we filter, we want the data to be stored in that. So in order to get the right results, we're going to apply a loop here for row use list, and if row if row get title to lowercase contains character to lowercase, filter list add row, and then we're gonna like come down here and again equalize our filter list according to news list, and filter results, filter results, new filter results, filter results dot value is equal to news list filter, and return filter results. And the last leg of this method is going to be use this filter is equal to, we're gonna wrap this array list results values, modify Yeah, we have to notify the adopter that the data has changed. Okay, now to work on we have to fetch the JSON response first. So we are going to go and create a new file called utils, and here we're going to take a constructor. So final, and for log messages, if we are using log messages because those are helpful in order to, if there are some errors, so we can always use the log message to see what's going on. And yeah, to do this, you have to just flow. Yeah, simple. Here we're going to create a list, and we're going to pass our model inside it. We're going to name it fetch. This is one of the most important passing context and a string, and here we can request URL, and here URL is equal to create URL request URL, because we have to create these methods, and right now we are just writing it in this, so everything will be stored in the fetch news method. Fetch news list actually. Okay, try and string JSON response, JSON response to make HTTP request, URL passing as its parameter, alt enter, catch, creating a new list, passing model, and here we're going to make news and extract JSON response context and passing the JSON response here, returning the news. Okay. So now we have three methods that we need to create. So let's go one by one. Okay, and here I can change it. String URL. If you don't want to change it, it will still work. Okay, URL is equal to view URL. Uh, String URL. Right. Actually, sorry. URL null. And here I'm going to take URL string URL, and we will see an error here, so we just have to add a catch clause here and return the URL. We're done here. We can go and make an HTTP request. Here we will string response. Okay, and if the URL is null, then return the JSON response. The URL connection is equal to null. Input string is null. And we try URL is equal to URL dot open connection. Here we are at request get. What we are doing is here that there are, if you study the APIs, you would come across this. So for example, when you are writing a tweet on the Twitter, that means you are writing something on your server, so that is like a post. And if you are just retrieving a data, for example, you want to display your Facebook account or page or your Instagram feed on the on your website, so then you are just getting a data from somewhere and displaying it on a certain page. whatever that you are desiring. So that kind of request is called get request. So this is our request method. URL connection set read timeout is going to be 1000. Connection connect timeout 15,000. URL connection connect. And the reason it's giving us an error because we have to add a catch clause, but let's continue. If URL connection response code is equal to 200. So there are like when we are working on the internet and we see some errors with the URL or like the websites, we will see 400 error or 404 error. So those errors, they have a meaning, but when our request is successful, the code for that is 200. So we are writing here if our code, if our request has been like successful and if the code is 200, then we can our input stream equal to whatever our JSON response is coming, and we are storing it in our input stream. And our JSON response is read from stream input stream, because we are going to store our JSON response in the stream, and this is the new method that we have to work on. Else, if our JSON response is not, if it's not successful, if there is an error, so we will just add a log message here that error with response. So when you come back this, and you can find out that maybe you have wrote something wrong here, and here we will add a catch clause. I can just delete this one. We don't need that, and then we add a fine. And here is our input stream is not null. Close the input stream. If our URL connection is not null, URL connection connect, and you will here return your JSON response. We are done. And we would have to add an input output exception. So yeah, and yeah, we would have to create another method here for our data to be read, because there can be so much data, so we need our data to be read like really fast. So not only string, like it can be like a big chunks of data, so we need string builder output builder. If our input string is not null, then we would take our input string reader and input string reader to input string reader and pass our input string in this. And buffer reader is going to read our stream really fast, like whatever the data is. Here we will create a string to store string. That's it. Apply while line if line is null. Output dot append reader, and here we will take line is equal to, sorry guys, we will go read line reader dot read line, and we would add yeah, and here we will return our output to string as a string response. So one of the last methods, extracting JSON response. Yeah, so we will, yeah, rename this here. So if text utils is empty, return null, create a new list. And here we're going to use try JSON object, is response JSON object, the JSON parameter that we had passed above, JSON array. We can say use array to this and base JSON base response of JSON. So this is very important. We will go to our JSON data, and if I can just close it and look at this, this article contains our source, our author, our title, our description, everything. So this is an array, these brackets. If you know how to read, if you know how to read the JSON data, you would understand that whenever you are saying this is an array, and if you click on the plus sign, this will contain all the data that is inside, that we need. And when we look at like this source also has an array of its own, so I will work on that also. So first of all of our data is in this title description, so we will write here as it is, articles, no spelling mistakes. We'll create one loop. I is less than use array dot length I plus plus, and here we will again get JSON object, get use array, get JSON object, and I. Here we will because our source has an array of its own, so we will but it's still coming into the articles, and to retrieve another array which is already in our previous array, we will just use same method, JSON object, get source. Now if we want to retrieve the data from articles such as URL or URL to image or publish tab, we would use this. So our source is also inside this. So let's just get this get news data, get JSON object, and what's the name of our thing that we are going to retrieve from here? Source. Source has name of our news. So we'll type source here. I know this is a little bit tricky, and I might not be able to explain it like really well. Once you try it 2-3 times, you will be able to uh, like understand it. So let's just retrieve the values. String title is get news data, get string title, because our title is stored in this title, and you would have to make sure that these spellings are correct. And if you want description, then get news data, get string description. If there is slightest mistake of spelling, you will not be able to drive your data. But here now we have to get the source, but source is not only in articles, but source has its array of its own. So let's go, and for source I'm not going to use get news data because source is also within articles and the name is in the source, so I would use this get source get string name, because if you open it the name variable is here. Okay, and now everything is going to be more easier because now we would just have to get URL, get phone, get news data, and get string, URL because here is simple URL, and for get news data, string, alt image, string, and the time that you are getting was from published, right? That's it. And now we will create our like whatever the model that we had created. Here it will give us a hint to put source one, title, description, URL, URL to image, and we will add the array that we had, the list that we had created here. We will add this data in our list, and then we'll add a catch clause to remove all the errors, and here we'll add a return statement returning our list, and all are gone. We are pretty much done here, just some few steps, like because I was talking about the time and date separation, so we would have to work on this a little bit. Yeah. Uh, yeah, so let's create a new method to convert the time public static to format string old string date. Earlier, if you see in the Gradle, we had already imported this library. Get country, time, null, run, simple date time format, SDF, simple date time format, the year, HH, minute, second, locale English. We want the time in English and date. SDF dot parse or string date is time is dot format date. Add a catch clause. Yeah, moving on. Public static string format string old date and string new date. Simple date format. Simple date format is comma d country uh, new simple date format my parse or string date new date is equal to date format and here we will add a catch clause. Okay, and return new date. Expression what? Yes. Yeah, one of the last steps, because we are writing here the get country according to time of the country country, locale, locale, get default, string country, value of locale country, turn country lowercase. Okay. Oh, that was a lot. So let's go over to our adapter and work on our remaining folder dot time the text. Our method was there, date to time format. And here we will add time and holder dot publish that text details. We had created a method for our time and date format. Okay, we're done here. Okay, last two steps we have to create a async task loader that will help us uh, to load the data. So we will create another news loader. There are other ways to do it, but I'm going to use this for now. And we'll create a string and implement methods and a constructor because it's giving an error. So here we have a constructor, pass a string URL equal to URL. Okay, we will create another method, public void protected start force load. And lastly, here we have we will remove if URL is null, then return null. Otherwise, list model news. We had created a method in the utils file. We had created a method here, fetch news. So we're going to use that, get and pass our URL in this and return news. Okay, sweet. Okay, perfect. Now we'll come in our main activity. There are views, RecyclerView, the news adapter, our API link here, public static final string news. Yeah, and I'm just gonna copy paste it. Okay, there we go. And we will create a constant for our loader, which can be a constant value. And here we're going to take a list model and list. Have also got swipe refresh capability, so we will add that in case our internet is available. So then we would have to display a message that no internet connection. So which reminds me of going to our manifest and getting the internet permission so we don't forget. Yes, sometimes we had done all what we could, but we sometimes forget these kind of small things such as taking the permission for internet, and also we're going to access the network state we in our loader, and here we will implement loader manager or loader callback body. We will implement its methods. Let's leave that for now, and let's initialize our recycler view. Okay, our array list, array list. Since it's a recycler view, so we're going to have set a layout manager, and swipe refresh layout, view by ID, and text view that we have is. Lastly, we will get our adapter initialized. Use this passing the use list, because if we see in our adapter, here we have the adapter constructor, we have list and our context. Going back to main activity, we are working with the well, what we would have to do is we would have to apply the set the adapter on our recycler view. Here we will work on swipe refresh layout and yeah, modify the adapter. Yes, and set refreshing when it's started, and if there is data, then we don't have to show that it's we don't have to show it moving and moving our loading indicator. Okay, connectivity manager, and get system services, connectivity services. If it's not null, then we would like the network info get active network info. If network info is not null, then we would want to initialize our loader. Get support loader manager initialize, and here we will enter the constant argument is null and activity, and yes, then we would now when the loader is initialized, we want to show it the refreshing when once our activity is launched and it's loading the data. So we want the swipe refresh to display its set refreshing to true, and if loader manager is restarted, our loader is restarted, reset it, and set the refreshing to false. Whenever our loader is restarted, we don't want the refreshing indicator to be continually displaying. Okay, and else swipe refresh layout set refreshing should be on false, and for empty state view should have the visibility visible once there is no data, when there is no connection like the internet connection, and it should display select turn on Wi-Fi. Okay, we are done here, and then we will go to our last steps, one of the last steps. Here we will use the loader that we had created, this loader, this, and our API link, and here we can write this. If you will use the data, but it will still work fine. When the loading has finished, we want the refreshing indicator to be false. If news list is not null, and if news list is not empty, we want the recycler view, and we would set the docker on it. Docker this, and assign news list in this. Lastly, just copy paste. When the once the loader is being reset, we still want it to stop refreshing. Now, let's work on our last step. We want the search view functionality to work. So we will take boolean create options menu menu, and yeah, let's just go to res and create. You can do it by edit text, but I want to make it more beautiful, so I will implement the search bar inside the action view bar. Menu, and here I will title search. So as action always, because I want the icon to be displayed always, and I had already copied icon, like when we started the project. If icon is not there, you can add the icon of your choice, and yeah, here we can set the search view. Okay, so we will also give it an ID, search bar, search underscore bar, and yes, we're done here. And let me check what is the problem here. Oh, we are what could be the issue? Yes, and here we will inflate our menu on the action bar, and here we will search the menu item. So menu to find our ID search bar. Here we will use it according to android.widget. Okay, view. Okay, and right up to get action view. Search view set on queue, and here we will get our adapter, get filter, and QE is our whatever the text that we are typing here, and also change it to new text. And last you will return super and okay. So guys, thanks for watching, and now let's test what happens. I hope no errors, but we learn with the errors. It's okay. We have to, keep on trying. You can definitely check my other tutorials because it's been 4 months that I have started to learn Android on my own. And if you have some comment, suggestion, or like even the criticism, I'm open to it. We learn from teaching others and sharing our knowledge with others. There are some things that like I'm also not like I don't have full grasp on it, but I'm learning as I go. So this helps me to So see, this is beautiful loading indicator, and yes, if I swipe, for some reason the news are not being displayed. Let us check. But what we can do meanwhile is like we can add here a post message. Uh, News updated every 3 hours. Actually, I'm very pleased that we have like wrote so much code in the first attempt. At least it's not crashing. That's a good thing. Yeah, you see this toast, and now we will check why we can't see our news. Uh, Let me just add one more thing here. Search view set query hint search view, and let's go to our JSON. For some reason, it's not working. Articles, name, spelling. Check the spelling. Mostly it's about spelling or something. Description, name, URL to image, publish that. Let me check on my second device. If it's working, then I will add it in the video. Sometimes, like the data is and the images are so heavy. Sometimes I've seen that uh, our Android Studio emulator can be weak. Try it on my other device. Yeah, even on my other device, it's not being displayed. So let's check the problem. Where is the problem? Uh, we can check our API. Maybe API has some issue. Mm, we have set the Docker. What could be the issue? String cannot be converted. Buffer reader. Yeah, I think we have a problem in the method. Let's go to details. In our input stream, I think we have some problem. Okay, what we were doing wrong is like we don't have to pass our reader here, we have to pass line here. Yeah, let's run it again. Now it will work. Okay, see this beautiful progress bar loading and before the image loads. So yeah, we are seeing the news from Google News. Uh, oh, and I just clicked on something suddenly. And yeah, you see it's opening the Google News. Somehow the Google News is connected to YouTube, but we would go back and maybe try some other source. So we could like directly go. Let's try CNBC, and you see this like when you once you swipe, it gives you like a toast message. It gives you like a nice date. It gives you how long ago the article was posted, and it shows you from where it is, and we can just click and it should take us to CNBC's website. Yeah, everything is working amazing. And now we will just do our last step to search. If we wrote CNBC, we would see, yeah, our search is not seems to be working. So let's see what is the problem. Yeah, we have to see why our search view is not working well. And where did we work on that search? We can go here in our adapter. I think something is wrong here. Mm, yeah, so the problem is that we are equalizing news list filter to news list, whereas we have to equalize it to filter list because we are storing the data that has been filtered into the news list filter. And now let's try it. So where is my emulator? Let's just maximize it, and yeah, here. And now we will see, hopefully, yes, CNBC. It's still not working. Maybe here also we have to um, okay. This was one of the mistakes. Yes. So now we are seeing the news from CNBC only. Let's try CNN if they have news. Okay, CNN, and it's showing the correct image because we are we have used here that whenever we filter the article, it should show the correct image. If we use here news list, then it might show a different image. Uh, oh, where is my emulator? Okay, yeah. Let's try one more time. Maybe try by searching the title. So if we write Trump, we get this articles that will have Trump. And let's try by searching. We had already tried by source. So let's say we want to search the news by title. So what is the title name here? Big Brother. Let's try. Yeah, if we are big, we get it here. So guys, this was the tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. This is my first time doing the commentary. Please let me know how can I improve it, and please subscribe and take a look at my GitHub. So have a good day, guys. Thank you.